I'm Jeff Philbin, and this is Dinner DeeAs. And today, we're making a meal of Mussels as we share a recipe for mussels with tomato and fennel. We'll show you how to be sure they're safe, to get them clean, and to cook them up quick. Here to share the benefits of his mussel memory is Chef Jason Lutz from Grace and Pasa Grill. Welcome back to Dinner DeeAs, my friend.
Thanks for having me back again.
Let's have some fun here today because Chef Jason is the man with the mussel plan, as he's tried all manner of methods for making them and says this is the absolute best version to do it. Mussels with tomato and fennel. And when you were here last, you shared the secrets to making an absolutely incredible, simple shellfish stock. And for this dish, we're actually going to be using a veggie stock.
Yes, it's just a veggie stock. We use it in a lot of our recipes as a base ingredient.
Let's get right into it then, my friend.
All right.
What do we do first?
So we're going to use a little olive oil. Sometimes in some of our recipes we'll use wine, but there's a lot of wine in this recipe already.
Okay.
When we get to it later. We'll start kind of toasting our spices. We've got dried whole fennel. Peppercorns, there's some onions, celery, carrots, and fennel in there to start the broth up.
It's already smelling really, really nice in there too. I mean, like it's just jam-packed with a lot of flavor.
Absolutely. So we get a little salt in there too, kind of drawing out the moisture of the onions and the rest of the vegetables.
I love it. And you started seasoning it right now. So, what is the proper seasoning? Because like sometimes you buy, a stock from a grocery store and it's like, we have this one and this one has so much sodium and we have this one and this one has no sodium and we have this one, we don't know what's there. What's the proper, balance here?
I think it's all kind of the person's taste. A lot of people are looking at, for their health and trying to cut down sodium. By making a stock yourself, you can control how much sodium you're going to put in it. A lot of times we'll take a homemade chicken stock and we'll add a full sodium stock to it to give it a little more seasoning, and sometimes that bouillon will finish it off and give it that missing taste of sodium that you're looking for.
So what are we looking for here?
So we're just kind of browning that a little bit,
okay.
And then we're going to pour some water in there. We'll get that going. Like we kind of getting a little bit of water to get it rolling. So
and we like to take this now up to a rolling boil?
Yeah, we can get it going pretty good.
Okay.
I usually will kind of hold back some of these other herbs and the tomatoes. It slows down that toasting process, and then you're going to lose a lot of it. So I'll add that in about once it gets going.
Okay.
So you retain some of the chlorophyll and stuff that's in the parsley and the tomatoes. It kind of doesn't break down so much, so it stays nice and clear.
I love it. And if you want to make mussels a meal for your dinner, grab Chef Jason's recipe for how to do this stock and the main dish that we'll be making in a moment at dinnerdeas.com. Okay, so now it looks like we got this up to a nice rolling boil here. What do we need to do next with it? What's going in?
So now that we can smell all those spices and everything going, we'll add our fresh herbs, kind of finish off the stock.
And I see some thyme floating. What else do I see?
I had some thyme, parsley stems, some chopped tomatoes. I usually try to add this stuff at the end so it doesn't discolor the stock. Sometimes if you're looking for like a clear broth and you put all those stems in green, it ends up making it green or the real cloudy from the tomatoes. So this way it stays nice and clear.
It's that last second, it's that last little addition. With our stock simmering, we're taking a quick break. When we come back, our top tips for a tapping technique to make sure our mussels are safe. We will reveal all ahead on Dinner DeeAs. Welcome back to Dinner DeeAs. It's a meal of mussels on the menu today, thanks to our guest, Chef Jason Lutz. He's done extensive recipe research and confident claims this dish of mussels with tomato and fennel is the best way to bring up these bivalves. Before the break, We started out with a simple way to make a homemade stock, heating oil and adding onions, celery, carrots, salt, garlic cloves, fennel seeds, and cracked peppercorn. And you can smell all of that coming along.
Yeah.
It smells really, really good. Then we added water, tomato, and let it simmer along with some herb stems. We used thyme, parsley, bay leaves, and so nothing goes to the waste. We use the celery tops too. Like, don't throw them away.
Absolutely.
Perfect opportunity to use them right now.
Yeah, absolutely. It's nice to finish with them.
I love that. So, you think that this is ready for our next step?
I'm going to take some of this, ladle some of it off.
Okay. Oh, wow. That looks nice. You know, and if someone at home wanted to do this in batch, and they just were like, hey, I got all these, vegetable remains, you got any tips? Like, you ever freeze them and put them in like an ice tray? And
Yes, absolutely. At the restaurant, we usually put them in little pint containers
Okay.
or quart containers, so we have them in a larger batches. But yeah, absolutely, you could put it in an ice cube tray or anything just to kind of save. And whenever you want to use it, it's ready to go.
yeah, and like as we were saying, like, there's so many other ingredients that sometimes go into store-bought stuff. Since you control it, you make it in batch, you really don't need to go to the store for it anymore. You've got it ready when you need it.
Absolutely.
I love that. All right, so
We're just going to use a little bit, so we'll take off what we need for now and
very cool.
go with that.
All right, now it's tickets to the gun show.
So this is
We
kind
going
of
for the muscles now?
The muscles time.
Come on,
It's
my
muscle
brother.
time.
It's muscle time over on this one right now. All right, let's go into it. What do we need to do?
So we're going to take a look at these. There's what's called a beard appears on some of them. So if you see that, we're inspecting them for broken shells.
Okay.
A beard, you'll kind of stand out. It looks like a little group of hairs that comes on the side that we'll pluck out.
Okay, so you just pulled that right out there.
Pulls it
and
out.
you also soak these as well.
We soaked them for about 30 minutes in running water. So you kind of put them in your sink with a little something mesh over the top of them and turn on the water so they could kind of flush themselves out.
Okay.
That's how I would like to do it.
So fresh water helps flush themselves out. So you can actually, do you ever see them like moving and
Absolutely,
like-
and you can see some of these are open.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean there's anything wrong with them. A lot of times you're gonna tap the shell and they'll close themselves.
Just like that.
So they're still alive.
They're still
so
alive.
Then we can put those in the good batch as we kind of continue to go through these and make sure, here's one that got crushed. So we don't want to eat that, so we put that one to the side for the garbage.
All right. But sometimes people get worried about eating mussels. They're like, like
If you just take a little extra time, you can know that you're doing it right and you're eating the right thing. They're even good. We get some occasionally during the heat of summer that are frozen. And there's nothing wrong with that. They're pre-steamed.
Okay.
And you could do the same thing with them that way.
because like isn't there the old wives' tale about like R in the month you're not supposed to like?
I think that's a lot for raw type of mollusk, like the oyster. But we're going to heat these through, but so you don't want to eat anything that's not good. So these are nice and fresh, PEI from Prince Edward Island in Canada. So it's really, really cold up there, especially right now. So these are nice and fresh.
I love that. So like, how long would these stay fresh for?
If you ice them down, not necessarily ice them down, but keep them with like a little something to drain the liquid that runs off of them naturally. A little divider or something with holes where they could not be sitting in their own juices. That is the key to keeping them the longevity.
Okay.
And then I'll usually put like a little damp towel so they could breathe. You don't want to like seal them up because they are still alive. So they'll kind of give them some room to breathe.
So cool.
So we're getting here to where we probably have enough for what we're going to be doing.
Like, what happens if you eat a bad one? What happens if I mean, someone like,
I
is it
think
like
you'll survive.
you'll survive.
You're right.
so like it's okay.
It's okay if you.
I mean, you're not running into it going like, oh, let me go eat bad mussels. But
Right,
like,
right. Well, as long as you cook them good, you'll be okay. It's just, you don't want to eat like a broken shell. It's kind of the main thing that I'm usually looking for. Somebody could chip a tooth or.
So this is an important step because this is the quality control piece to it all. I mean, as much as we're having fun with it, there is intent behind this to
sure.
make sure because people will be eating this. People will be having this.
Right.
simmering and-
And if you find a bunch of bad ones, you know now where to get them next time.
That is also very true too, because at the end of the day, you work hard. I mean, this is a very inexpensive, use of seafood here, but at the same time, it's something to celebrate.
For sure. For sure.
All right, since we're talking seafood, I think we're gonna need a bigger boat.
Right.
Like we're trying to find a
overloaded.
leaning tower right now.
My boat's empty, so I can throw some back in here.
That sounds great.
I think we're good to go here. We probably got
Very
enough,
cool.
enough for the whole staff.
So what do we need to do next?
All right, so we're gonna do start sautéing some. Put a little olive oil in the pan with our fennel, and this is kind of the base of what we're gonna be cooking them in.
Oh.
So some fennel sliced. I can keep it whole so you can really see it. It gets wrapped around the shell. If it's too small, it gets lost in there.
Yeah, it kind of could get lost in this one. This actually brings so much more dynamic behind it, and because it's unique, people are gonna be like, "Ooh, what's that? What are we tasting?"
Yeah, it kind of.
You don't see it as often like that.
You could really see it, and you really get the flavor of it all. So we could sear up our cherry tomatoes. I'm gonna put those in the hot oil, let them blister a little bit.
And to tap your way to a delicious dinner of mussels, grab the recipe for what we're making at dinnerdeas.com or just scan the QR code on the screen to find us. So these tomatoes are just gonna blister a little bit.
Yep, and get a little color on them if we can. We're starting to get a little color on the fennel, a little caramelization going.
Oh. Now, this is a very cool, unique base to it. So what types of flavors would this infuse into our mussels?
Well, you get some fennel, and then we're going to add some anise liqueur. So that's the base of it, is a celebration of fennel and tomatoes. We put a lot of fennel seeds into the stock.
Yeah.
We're doing anise liqueur and some white wine to give a little acidity.
And for someone at home that might not be familiar with what that flavor profile would be, you know, what are they tasting?
The anise is like a licorice flavor, like kind of like your black licorice, but not so sweet.
You know, that's sweet. Beautiful colors.
Now we could add some of our mussels. Get our chili flakes in there.
Okay.
Since you add we won't need all those, about half of those. That would be good.
A little bit more?
Yeah, a little tad more. There you go, that's good.
Okay.
Put some garlic in there. We'll just toast that lightly, and then we can put some mussels in there.
Now, this is a question that's plagued mankind since the dawn of finding mussels and eating mussels. What's the proper amount per person for mussels?
Right.
What should someone really have?
Right, it seems like the bowls get bigger and bigger.
And the mussels just keep coming.
Right, because it's hard to tell like how much you're really getting. You know, there's maybe a 1/4 ounce of meat in each one.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the bags are like that big, so I figure, you know, maybe an eighth of a bag per order.
All right.
It's usually about a dozen to 18.
Okay.
You know, depending on the size. Some of them are too big for my taste.
Sure.
I like a kind of a small to medium size mussel. When they're too big, it's just a little bit more than I like to kind of try to ingest.
Oh, I love it.
But yeah, this is going to be beautiful here.
Oh, this smells fantastic.
So we can take this Pernod, which is a anise liqueur. We'll put that in there. I'll let that deglaze a little bit with our white wine.
Man. Like you just added that level of just flavor, the smells, the notes of that Pernod coming in. Oh, I just want to bask in this right now. I really just want to kind of go straight into it because I love that smell. There's something so inviting and so unique because of that note there.
It's really something else.
And you added white wine too.
We put a little white wine, we put our Pernod in there, and now we're just going to wait for them to kind of do their magic.
Ooh, the magic continues, my friend, but we are going to have to take a quick break. As we come back, how to know your mussels are done ahead of Dinner DeeAs. Welcome back to Dinner DeeAs. Mussels are our main event today, and Chef Jason Lutz is with us. His restaurant in Pasta Grill is Grace, and he's been unselfish with his shellfish recipe, sharing how he makes mussels with tomato and fennel, which he says is the only way to cook them. Say it with us together.
The only way to cook them.
Only way to cook them. Before the break, we finished up our homemade vegetable stock, straining it out to save it for our mussels, which we then cleaned up, tapping to make sure that they were still good to go, and removing the beards. And I'm not talking about this one here, my friends. they are used to attach themselves to the rocks in the water, and we don't want them in our dish. Then we start our main dish, though, heating oil and cooking up sliced fennel, cherry tomatoes, then adding in chili flakes, garlic, our mussels, and very important liquor here. It was the Pernod.
The Pernod.
You gotta have the Pernod for this one there, and a little wet wine. This is absolutely looking fantastic as it is, but it's not done just yet.
Not quite yet. We're gonna make it a little more broth. We're gonna add some of our vegetable stock to give it a little extra broth. It's like a little soup here at the end. And then we're gonna finish it with some butter. Just kind of a little bit at a time.
A little bit at a time.
We'll mount this in. It's gonna be cold butter so it doesn't break.
And that's an important part too. Like, you wanna make sure that it's cold butter, because if it breaks, what happened?
It separates. It's got a different look to it. You're kind of making a sauce just by kind of mixing it in at the end. It's basically cream, so it's just turning into a little bit of a cream sauce.
And because of this being, in essence, a cream sauce, I mean, if you want to do this over pasta, you wanted to do this, you have so many different options now to even play with.
Absolutely. You could put it with pasta. You could put a little pearl pasta in there, and it would probably all get inside those little shells while you're eating it, which would be a really fabulous idea.
Very nice.
And then we're just kind of melting that little by little. We're pretty much ready to go here, so I'm going to add a little lemon juice to it, just to pick up at the end.
This will help brighten everything up there.
I like the fresh kind of added at the end lemon juice, and it's all freshly squeezed, so it doesn't kind of lose that character.
And is that important? Because sometimes people see like the lemon juice in like the little canisters that are there at the store, versus just like, hey, no, I just bought real lemons. Like, any kind of preference there, Chef?
Well, we buy some lemon juice that's pre-done. There are some good brands.
Okay.
I just kind of look with something that doesn't have a whole lot of ingredients in it.
Yeah.
Not a lot of sugar added or anything. But if you've got fresh lemons, you might as well make lemon juice.
Yeah, exactly.
Yourself. So
I love that. As they say, when life gives you lemons, make this dish. And also, to make this dinner, grab the recipe at dinnerdeals.com, where you can also watch the show again if you missed any of it. Just scan the QR code down there to get to us. All right, so finishing touches.
We just season it up lightly. There's plenty of good stuff going on. We just bring out the flavor with just a little bit of salt and a little black pepper.
Very nice, very nice. You think that this is ready to start playing?
Absolutely, it looks delicious.
Oh. Yeah, that one right there. That one's calling my name. All right, let's go
so
for it.
If you wanted to take that over, I'll get the bowl.
What is the proper balance here? I mean, we were talking about like the proper quantity per person. What's the plating procedure here?
Well, just don't go too many at once. Don't try to dump it in, or it's going to go all over. We could take, the tongs and just kind of put a few in there and just pile them up in the middle.
All right. Oh, you're letting me have some fun with you on this one?
Absolutely. You got to get in on the game here.
Now, do you like to kind of do anything where it's like get the mussels down first, pour broth over, like how I'm doing?
Once we get to kind of clear out the middle, and you can kind of scoop some of the broth out of the center.
And then kind of pour it a little bit over, like so. And what are we serving this with?
We have some bread in the oven that we're going to have. It's like an appetizer. It's always good with all that broth going on to have a little something to sop it up.
I love that, because there's nothing better than having seafood, broth, and bread. Like there's just something about it that just brings it all together in a way. And let's get a little height there. What do you think, Chef? Am I doing your dish justice here?
It looks great.
All right, we're gonna get this one right here, because that one looks like it just needed to have a little fun on that one. And that tomato right there, put a little color.
There you go.
Let's get a little bit more of your broth for that bread to meet. More broth? Less broth? Did I do okay with broth?
That looks good for that amount.
For that amount. So that is the proper amount.
I think that's a good amount. You could scoop a little bit up, and you can get to the bottom. You could kind of take it apart and still kind of scoop up the broth.
Oh, come on.
If you have it mounted too high, you never really get to the bottom.
Oh, I love it. All right, and what about a little bit of some greenery?
So we're going to just put a little greenery on there for the scenery, a little parsley.
Okay.
And a little basil chiffonade to kind of go with our
I like that
little
idea.
Freshness at the end.
Oh, that's a nice touch right there. Because if you make your mussels for dinner this way, we want to know what you think of it. Send a photo to dinnerdeals@fox.com. That's what Linda did. She's watching us in Lincoln. Hi, Linda. She made the short ribs, rice with peas, and sauteed cabbage recipe shared by Chef Eddie Adams from The Loaded Potato. Linda told us, me and my husband Tim loved it, and even our 12-year-old grandson Caleb said, this is really good. Thanks, Linda, and your taste testers too, Tim and Caleb. I mean, this is a dish Tim and Caleb need to do a little more taste testing
I
on.
hope you would say that would be
All
good.
right, Tim, Caleb, you've been challenged, and I
off.
dare you now to make this one here with the family. So when we come back from the break, we'll see if this dish is a dish to make Caleb say, this is really good too. Ahead on Dinner DeeAs. Welcome back to Dinner DeeAs. Our idea for dinner for you today, a simple celebration of seafood. Chef Jason Lutz is sharing his preferred way of making mussels with tomato and fennel in this quick dish, which even gave us time to make a vegetable stock from scratch. And not to, lose sight, but that bread right there is just like,
Oh, yeah.
It's gonna just absorb everything.
Oh, yeah, just soak it up.
Oh, come on. You ready to dig in?
Oh, for sure.
All right. Before we even get started, is there a proper way to truly be clean when eating mussels?
You gotta put the pinky out.
The pinky out. All right, sure. I could do that part there.
Try not to eat too many at once.
Okay, so one at a time. Discipline.
I usually peel it off.
You just peel it right off.
And put it off to the side. I'm just gonna scoop a little bit of the sauce in the shell and set them together.
Ooh. That addition of the Fennel, so good. Thanks again to Chef Jason. Find his method for mussels all ready to print at dinnerdeas.com, where we also have a link to his Pasta Grill restaurant, Grace. I'm Jeff Philbin. See you next time with more ideas for dinner, or as we call them, Dinner DeeAs.